When the sun went down 10,000 years ago, something happened that we've spent our entire modern lives trying to forget. They didn't sleep. Not right away. Not for hours. And what they did in that darkness may be the reason you still feel afraid of it. Picture it. No electricity, no street lights, no phone glowing in your palm at 2 a.m. Just fire, shadow, and the sound of something moving beyond the trees. You'd think early humans collapsed from exhaustion the moment darkness fell. That's the story we tell ourselves. It's wrong. Anthropologists studying modern hunter-gatherer tribes, groups living almost exactly like our ancestors did, found something strange. The night wasn't dead time. It was the most important part of the day, because when the sun disappeared, the hierarchy disappeared with it. During daylight, humans worked. They hunted, foraged, competed, survived. There were leaders, there were followers, there was status. But at night, gathered around a single fire, something shifted. The strongest hunter and the weakest elder sat at the same flame, and they talked. Not about food, not about tasks. They told stories. Researchers recording these nightly conversations found something almost nobody expects. Over 80% of firelight conversation wasn't practical at all. It was myth, gossip, fears, dreams, the kind of talk that builds a mind, not a meal. This is where it gets strange, because that firelight ritual, repeated every single night for hundreds of thousands of years, may have done something no tool, no weapon, no spear ever could. It built the human imagination. Some researchers believe the night is where storytelling was born, not around a campfire because it was cozy, but because darkness stripped away distraction. No hunting, no gathering, no escape into busy work, just other minds and your own thoughts echoing back at you. And that's when the real terror begins. Because once the fire dimmed and the group went quiet and the last voice fell silent, they were alone with something modern humans almost never face: unfiltered darkness and unfiltered thought. No screen to scroll, no light to banish the black, just the sound of their own heartbeat and whatever the mind conjured to fill the silence. This is where anthropologists believe something else was born in that darkness. Not stories, fear itself, given form, monsters, spirits, things that watch from beyond the firelight. Every culture on Earth, separated by oceans and thousands of years, independently created almost the same thing: a being that lurks in darkness, that watches, that waits. Coincidence doesn't explain something that universal. Some researchers have a darker theory, that these monsters weren't imagination at all. They were memory. Early humans were not the apex predator we imagine ourselves to be today. For most of our evolutionary history, we were prey. Big cats, hyenas, whatever moves silently at the edge of vision, waiting for the fire to die down. So when your ancestors sat in the dark and felt that primal, bone-deep dread, that wasn't irrational. That was inherited memory, encoded by millions of nights where staying alert meant staying alive. And here's the part almost nobody talks about. You still have it. That feeling when you're the last one awake in a silent house. That instinct to check behind you in the dark. That childhood fear of what's under the bed. Neuroscientists now believe this isn't a glitch in the modern brain. It's a fossil, a leftover survival circuit from 100,000 nights spent fearing the dark for good reason. But here's where the story turns, and turns hard. Because that same fear, the one that kept them alive, may have also made them human. Some psychologists argue that the terror of nighttime darkness is what forced early humans together. Fear didn't isolate them, it bonded them. The fire wasn't just light, it was a boundary between order and chaos, between us and the unknown. And that boundary, drawn every single night by flickering flame, may be the origin of something we still crave today: community, belonging, the desperate human need to not be alone in the dark. Think about that the next time you scroll through your phone at midnight, unable to sleep, chasing some kind of connection through a glowing screen. You're not doing anything new. You're doing exactly what they did around that fire 50,000 years ago, except now the fire is your phone. The monsters are anxiety, comparison, the fear of missing out, and the silence you're avoiding is the same silence that once made your ancestors face themselves. But here's the disturbing twist modern science is only beginning to understand. Our ancestors, forced into hours of firelit darkness with nothing to do but think, may have developed something we've almost completely lost: depth. Because in that unstimulated darkness, human minds didn't just fear. They processed, they reflected, they made meaning out of chaos, night after night, for hundreds of thousands of years. We don't do that anymore. The moment silence arrives, we fill it. A notification, a show, a scroll. We've engineered a world with zero unstructured darkness, zero forced stillness, zero space to sit with our own minds the way every single human ancestor once had to. And some researchers believe that's not evolution, that's a loss. We traded firelight reflection for blue light distraction. We traded shared human connection around a single flame for isolated glowing rectangles in separate rooms. So maybe the real question was never what did ancient humans do at night? Maybe the real question is what did we lose when we stopped needing to? Because for nearly the entire history of our species, night forced something on us that we now spend billions of dollars trying to avoid. Stillness, silence, facing the unknown, together. And somewhere in that firelit darkness, surrounded by monsters that may have only lived in the mind, our ancestors found the thing that made us who we are. Not despite the fear, because of it. So tonight, when the lights go off and the silence creeps in, and some ancient part of you feels that familiar unease, don't reach for the phone. Sit in it. Because that discomfort you're trying to escape, that's not a flaw in you. That's the oldest part of being human, still burning, waiting for you to finally listen.